and just being very proud of my heritage, wanting to spread the word around of Indian cuisine, actually culture through Indian cuisine. And that was the go-get from the beginning, and then it just spread all over Israel.
कब तक लंबी लाइनों में उम्र बिताइएगा? डिजिटल पेमेंट अपनाइए, चुटकी में हल पाइए। पुराने तरीके कब तक अपनाइएगा? डिजिटल पेमेंट बहुत आसान है, देखिए चुटकी में पेमेंट चुका। बटवा ढूंढ रहे हैं? डिजिटल पेमेंट अपनाइए, कभी भी कहीं भी और सुरक्षित। हमने तो इन्हें डिजिटल पेमेंट करना सिखा दिया है। आपने? आरबीआई कहता है कि
डिजिटल पेमेंट अपनाओ,
औरों को भी सिखाओ।
Hello and welcome. We are back again with a spotlight on G20. On day 2 of the second Education Working Group meeting in Amritsar, discussions revolved around developing a collaborative roadmap to advance research and innovation through increased cooperation and to revolutionize the global education system together. We will share more details with you in a bit. Also on the show, formal deliberations started at the 3rd Business 20 conference in Gangtok, focusing on exploring opportunities for collaborations in industries like tourism, hospitality, pharmaceuticals and organic farming. That and more in this edition of India at G20. I'm Unman Bhattacharya. First up, the top stories. Discussions on day 2 of the second G20 Education Working Group meeting in Amritsar center on ways to foster a culture of continuous learning and development, enabling individuals to build their capacities and adapt to the changing demands of the workplace. Meeting identifies having robust foundational learning and numeracy skills as a top priority and explores effective strategies to collectively achieve it. In an exclusive conversation with DD India, Director of IIT Ropar, the host of the second Education Working Group meeting, says the focus of the meeting is on blending research and innovation through collaborations, and the double degree programs with foreign universities will naturally lead to such collaborations, and infrastructure for research and innovation can be shared with developing nations that lack them. Sikkim Chief Minister addresses the 3rd Business 20 conference in Gangtok on exploring opportunities for collaborations in industries like tourism, hospitality, pharmaceuticals and organic farming. Says Sikkim would like to pitch for investments in green technology, market access for its organic produce, value addition for its horticultural and agricultural products, and capacity and research for taking forward the organic mission. On day 2 of the second G20 Education Working Group meeting in Amritsar, over 55 delegates from 28 G20 member countries, guest countries and invited organizations like OECD, UNESCO and UNICEF held deliberations on priority areas in the education realm. DD India correspondent Amritpal Singh reports from Amritsar.
The second Education Working Group meeting held in Amritsar saw deliberations on priority areas like ensuring foundational literacy and numeracy, especially in the context of blended learning.
So foundational literacy, I believe, is the first step to a successful biography in terms of education, and it's an issue that is very high also on the German agenda. The G20 represent a large part of the global population and also different challenges, and I believe that Germany can contribute with its own experience in the educational realm also when it comes to primary literacy.
Mauritius is one of those countries which is fortunate to have had huge collaboration and huge support from the Indian team, and Government of India is even helping Mauritius right now set up a directorate for science and technology, along with helping us on various aspects of the education agenda. One of the collaboration aspect that we have starts at the level of primary education itself with the project EDLP, Early Learning Development Program, where all students of primary schools have been provided with a tablet with the collaboration of India, for example. And we're also working with NCERT and other institutions for secondary schools where we're having something called a student support portal.
Building capacities and promoting lifelong learning in the context of future of work were other issues discussed threadbare.
We'd like first to thank India for hosting this important meeting. We in UAE are happy to actually work in the area that India done in research and collaboration, and UAE always looks forward to working with other countries to collaborate, especially in the area of research and development and innovation. And we are happy that we already started with a few projects, also including India. There is a joint project with India with three other countries. And we are happy that we are going to continue with other projects and also joint research with universities in India.
Strengthening research and promoting innovation through richer collaboration and partnerships were also stressed upon for meaningful engagement in order to resolve challenges facing the world today and prepare for the future.
Over the past 2 days, delegates from the G20 countries have been trying to build a consensus on forging collaborations and partnerships, especially in the domain of research and innovation, capacity building and promoting lifelong models of learning, especially in the context of future of work. What they finally agree upon will shape the contours of the global agenda for education. With cameraman Sanjeev Sharma, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Amritsar.
DD India correspondent Amritpal Singh caught up with Professor Rajiv Ahuja, Director of IIT Ropar, on how the second G20 Education Working Group meeting is working towards solutions for developmental challenges through research and innovation through collaborations. Take a listen.
As the G20 Education Working Group meets here in Amritsar, the idea is to promote a cooperation among the G20 countries in areas of research, in areas of innovation, and shape a more inclusive global education agenda. In fact, I have with me the host of today's seminar, Professor Rajiv Ahuja. He's the director of IIT Ropar, which is an IIT here in Punjab. Sir, how is the Education Working Group putting its head together to work out solutions which are more future-oriented?
So you can see that in the exhibition also. So we are more focusing on the research and combining this research with innovation, and we are doing this all through the collaboration. So you can see that we have innovated a lot of technologies here, which are also regional specific also, like especially in agriculture sector, which Punjab needs, and how we can use AI, ML in the smart farming, or we can say vertical farming. So we are using that kind of approaches, and what research we are conducting, because IIT Ropar is going in a different direction through research and innovation. So you can see that there will be a lot of setup not only from other institutions but also from IIT Ropar. So we are blending research and innovation through collaboration, and we are training our young B.Tech engineers to go in research. And because most of these B.Tech students, are not much interested in research, and so we always say that research is a mother of innovation. So if you have to innovative, you be good also in the research also. So this is way how we are developing, and this is also the theme of this meeting.
Right. So how can the institutions like yours collaborate with institutions from other G20 countries to find innovative solutions which find solutions to the present needs?
So if you have seen that there is one stall by Syngenta. So that technology we have developed in Punjab in IIT Ropar to save this biodiversity. So this is a Swiss company, but we are the equal stake partners. So this technology is from IIT Ropar. So this is one example where we working together with a company which is a world leader in the seed, and this company is situated in Switzerland. So this is how we are working, and then we have also working when we're talking about collaboration, so we have started the joint degree or double degree program with the foreign universities. And those foreign universities which I want talking to you, they are top 100 in the world. So we can share the resources, we can share the students. So the collaboration will build automatically through the students. So we don't have to force to one faculty to other faculty that you have to collaborate. But when they have a common PhD student or common master student, so this collaboration will automatically come. And this is the way how Europe is doing. So this is the advantage right now we have, and we should use this as an opportunity to collaborate with all these G20 countries. That's the idea of this meeting also, that if we can come up with a new collaboration through this meeting.
So collaborating with the advanced world or the developed world, like say the United States or Europe, yes, institutes like yours, which are centers of excellence, do that. But as the focus of this G20 is on the global south, we have representation from the global south. So how can developing countries, partner with each other to find solutions to their needs?
So as you have seen that in the workshop also, you listen to that. So we want to use a lot of these developing countries. They don't have the infrastructure and the facilities which we can share actually. So this is the way how the science will progress. So they can use our equipment, we can use their equipment, and we can share the knowledge, because when we use their equipment, that will also create another kind of environment which is better than, I shall say, the collaboration. Collaboration is more like a facial thing, but when you use the same equipment from one institute to the other institute, and that gives you a different dimension to the collaboration. So this is the way developing countries we can help. India is now in this position where we have so development done in India, and the equipment what we have the state-of-the-art facilities, and so we can use those facilities, and we can provide those facilities to our developing countries, our neighbor country also. So this is the way how collaborate. When I say Europe, because I myself is living from last 30 years in Sweden, so I joined here as a director only 2 years back, and so this is the culture we are bringing. So how they work together, how they collaborate within the departments, not only within a country but within an institution. So that kind of culture we have to bring, and then we can extend to the developing countries.
Thank you for speaking to us. So the idea really is to leverage each other's strengths within the grouping of G20, and also to collaborate to find innovative solutions to the most pressing needs of our times. With cameraman Sanjeev Sharma, this is Amritpal Singh for DD India in Amritsar.
At the multimedia exhibition of disruptive technologies and innovations on the sidelines of the seminar, DD India correspondent Amritpal Singh spoke to an eye surgeon, Dr. Mahesh, who has come up with a home-based preventive healthcare solution. No more.
There are innovative solutions that are being offered, like this service called JV Scan. They basically record your voice in 30 seconds, and they say they can do a scan and prevent diseases or healthcare.
See, it is all about mapping your body frequencies. Every organ, every system, and every blood element or the emotion, they are vibrating at a particular frequency, and each and every organ is connected to the vocal cords through the largest cranial nerve called vagus nerve. So when you speak, all emotions, everything, all vibrations, they are expressed through the vocal cords, and there's a pattern which we diagnose. There could be missing frequencies, there could be normal frequencies, and there could be weak frequencies at the mind level, body level, and the blood level.
By recording my voice for 30 seconds, your application can tell me what are the problems in my body, what diseases do I have?
Absolutely, we can tell you all about your mental health, physical health, and blood health, but I'm not saying that we are diagnosing diseases. We are just mapping the frequencies of body organs. If we want to say talk about physical health, if the frequency of a particular organ is weak or missing, we can tell you, okay, heart has a problem coming up, please visit your cardiologist, or your kidneys have certain problems coming up, please visit your nephrologist, like that. Thank you.
Sikkim Chief Minister addressed the third Business 20 conference in Gangtok on exploring opportunities for collaborations in industries like tourism, hospitality, pharmaceuticals and organic farming. In his address, he pitched for investments in Sikkim in green technology, market access for its organic produce, value addition for its horticultural and agricultural products and capacity and research for taking forward its organic mission. He also pointed to how Sikkim ranks high on SDG goals compared to the other 28 states of the country. The Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, or DPIIT, is organizing 4 Business 20 conferences in India's northeastern region to showcase the untapped potential and opportunities within the region, out of which 2 have already been held earlier in Imphal and Aizawl. The third one is currently underway in Gangtok and the fourth one will be taking place in Kohima in April. DD India correspondent Meghna Dev spoke to Rupa Datta, Senior Advisor in DPIIT in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in the Government of India, on the issues being taken up in B20 conferences. Take a listen.
There have been 4 meetings planned for Northeast. It started with Manipur, then in Mizoram and now in Gangtok. So there are some common themes which are coming and some state specific themes. For in this case it is like organic farming and pharma and even startups, skill development, and these are some of the critical issues which are coming up. So what we are trying to do in B20 is how to the state government is promoting their potentials in each of these areas depending on what are the multilateral opportunities available, and we are trying to bring people together, B2B, G2G and B2G, so that the stakeholders not from G20 countries as well as domestic stakeholders, investors and businessmen come together and these states get a further boost, a further impetus and a lot of investment coming in. Enthusiasm in both the places where I have been. In fact, it was a very enriching and exciting experience to see so many people coming forward to and also the state government giving a very good picture of the potential that they want to invest in Northeast. I think that was one of the main ideas of having these 4 meetings in Northeast as part of the G20 initiative.
A day before deliberations began at the Business 20 conference in Gangtok, DD India correspondent Meghna Dev spoke to the Chief Secretary of Sikkim, VB Pathak, who stressed that the focus of the conference is on showcasing strengths in the field of tourism and organic products to G20 countries and the world as a whole. Listen in.
We are joined in by the Chief Secretary of Sikkim to talk on the upcoming events of B20 and Startup 20 in Gangtok and number of delegates to be arriving here in Gangtok. Sir, what's in store for the people who will be arriving for these meetings in Gangtok?
It will be an opportunity for us to showcase our strengths and what are the opportunities which Sikkim can offer to the G20 countries in context of investment, because Sikkim, we are projecting ourselves as a green investment destination, and our tourism, which is the mainstay of the economy here, that also will get a big boost in marketing Sikkim to the G20 countries and other countries also, and it will showcase Sikkim about the pristine beauty, the salubrious climate, the various places of interest for normal tourism, adventure tourism, trekking trails, as well as a homestay where Sikkim is working in a big way. So this will be a big opportunity for us to market ourselves. And Sikkim, as we know, that is the only organic state in the country. So our organic products, we are now processing it in a better manner, marketing it and increasing the value additions in the thing, so that the better prices can be achieved for our products by selling them into the foreign markets and the national markets also.
So what we also see is that this B20 event is completely focused on tourism, hospitality, pharma sector, organic farming and these sectors. So how do we actually see that Gang to Sikkim as a state has to offer, and this number of delegates coming in and talking about this in the post-pandemic period, how do you assess it?
You see, Sikkim, like the change we have brought into the MG Road, which is the hub of all activities, it just shows the intention of the government that the changes which has been brought into the every aspect, whether it is investment, whether it is hospitality, whether it is tourism, or in marketing and increasing the volume of our organic products. These are the key features of the government. We are there for reducing the green emission, the carbon footprints in the country. Our forest cover has increased by 4% in the last 2 decades, which is quite an achievement there. And we are sure that with the open network data commerce also available, we will be able to sell our produce to the national and international market at a better prices, which will bring increase in the income level of the farmers and the entrepreneurs in the tourism industries and small MSME sector.
One last question I have for you. We have been seeing that the delegates who are coming for different meetings of the G20 are being taken to different heritage sites, important sightseeing places. What is the Gangtok offering to them?
This is the most magnificent time to visit Sikkim, with the rhododendrons flowering, with the flowers of all hues and color are blooming, and the Mount Kanchenjunga, which is the guardian deity of the state, is, I think, shining with all full bloom. These are all good omen of blessing from all the natural forces also.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to DD India. So here we have the beginning of the B20 and the Startup 20 events in Gangtok, with a number of delegates arriving, and talks on hospitality, tourism sector, pharma sector, entrepreneurship, startups and much more. These 2 events will be something to look out for in the next 4 days. With camera person Venkat, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Gangtok.
The Startup 20 conference will also be starting in Gangtok in a few days from now, and of course Sikkim is presenting its strengths to the world through the 3rd Business 20 conference to invite investment. Moving on, the 28th edition of the CII Partnership Summit concluded in New Delhi on Wednesday. The summit focused on how India's growth story, its reform processes and external engagement can help in rebalancing the world and imparting stability to growth processes. It also captured global business ideas under the aegis of Business 20 India. Key speakers participated in thought-provoking sessions on digital transformation on Wednesday. For instance, the co-chair of Business 20 Task Force on Digital Transformation and President and CEO of Nokia Corporation of Finland, Pekka Lundmark, said that India has grown to be the largest employment market across the globe. We are building 5G base stations here due to its tremendous manufacturing, exporting and research and development base. The CMD of Nestle India, Suresh Narayanan, said, "We are a consumption-driven economy. We are presented with this unique opportunity to digitalize our businesses, and this would unlock a lot of financial gains across the value chains of businesses, be it logistics, procurements, manufacturing or management." The Managing Director and Head of the General Atlantic, Sandeep Naik, said that the time has come where we will pass from work from home to work from India due to its largest base of software developers in the world today. There are 2 types of digital transformations happening in India. One includes the Bharat transformation, including Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, Ayushman Bharat, and the other is where we are developing services for the rest of the world. Ericsson President and CEO Borje Klom said that with 5G, we are going to digitalize societies and enterprises, and jobs are going to be created in countries where digital infrastructure is a great space. Also, the way 5G has paced in India, it will have the most modern digital infrastructure in the world. The conglomerates are talking on strengths of Indian economy. Gozi Akonjo Avela, who is the DG or the Director General of WTO, said that in the past 3 years, supply chain vulnerabilities have been exposed, especially in manufacturing, and to address these concerns, the WTO has called for re-globalization, diversifying global value chains to bring in marginalized communities. So the focus on the developing nations and particularly the marginalized there. Louis E. Brewer, IMF Senior Resident Representative to India, said 3 forces have impacted the Indian economy since last year. The first one being the war in Ukraine and its impact on the global commodity prices. The second one being reopening of China, and the third one being global fight against inflation. Tom Orlik, the chief economist with Bloomberg Economics, said that the Federal Reserve of the United States and others have gone in on an aggressive tightening trajectory since last year. He further said that this has implied a shift from a world of cheap money to expensive money, thus having an adverse impact on the growth prospects of the global economies. So he is underlining the challenges to global growth. Dr. Makoto Yokozawa, co-chair of the Committee for Digital Economy Policy Business of OECD Japan, said that ChatGPT has a greater applicability for small and medium enterprises and small and medium-sized businesses, and if leveraged effectively, it will benefit them more than the small-scale companies. So small businesses stand to gain more than large businesses through ChatGPT, is what he is saying. John Bolton, Director of Policy with ICAEW in the UK, said that we need to mobilize the scale of capital needed to build clean energy and its green buildings for construction and bring about both environmental and social transformation. So the focus on green growth as a whole. The Global Sovereign Debt Roundtable was launched jointly by the IMF, World Bank and India, which is the president of G20 this year. The aim was to bring together key stakeholders to understand debt restructuring challenges and address debt vulnerabilities. Here's a short take on it by the first Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, Geeta Gopinath. Listen in.
High in many countries, several low-income countries and some middle-income countries are in debt distress and require debt restructuring. Now, unlike domestic bankruptcy laws, there are no internationally agreed set of rules on sovereign debt restructuring, which complicates the process. The G20 Common Framework has made important progress in correcting this. However, much more needs to be done. In this context, the IMF, the World Bank, and India's G20 presidency launched the Global Sovereign Debt Roundtable last month. The purpose of this roundtable is to bring together all stakeholders, not just official creditors, but also private creditors and debtor countries, to come together to discuss the challenges to the debt restructuring process and, importantly, to come up with agreed solutions on how to move forward. We will continue this discussion during the IMF and World Bank meetings next month. And importantly, we really need to make quick progress to make sure that we can help vulnerable countries.
That's all then in this edition of India G20. We leave you with a brief introduction of Sikkim, the state in Northeast India that is hosting the 3rd Business 20 conference on opportunities for multilateral partnerships in tourism, hospitality, pharmaceuticals and organic farming. Remember, it is the world's first organic state with its thrilling adventures and spirituality. Namaskar.
Sikkim is not a destination, it's a journey. Into spirituality, into untouched nature.
इतनी जल्दी पैसे डबल?
ओ, जमा करोगे तो फिर भुगतोगे। क्या लो? ऐसी लुभाने वाली स्कीम में पैसे जमा करना यानी धोखे की संभावना। इसलिए पहले पूरी जांच, उसके बाद पैसे जमा, नहीं तो आपके पैसे हो जाएंगे पुर्र। आरबीआई कहता है
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
Anil ji, what kind of a message would you give to those people watching the journey today? Because there are a lot of people who are professionals who absolutely hesitate entering public life.
I feel that even if you are a professional, you can contribute to the politics directly or indirectly. In Parliament also, I have seen the professionals, the lawyers, the engineers, the doctors, they are contributing more. For the overall development of the country, we need that come from every field.
मिठाई तो हमारे जमाने में होती थी।
हाँ तो जाइए ना अपने जमाने में।
रोमांस तो हमारे जमाने में होता था।
पेमेंट भी उसी जमाने का है। अरे भैया डिजिटल पेमेंट करना सीखे नए जमाने में। इजी, सेफ एंड फास्ट है। हमने तो इनको डिजिटल पेमेंट करना सिखा दिया। आपने? ये सेल्फी लेते हैं, ये हमारे जमाने का है। आरबीआई कहता है कि
डिजिटल पेमेंट अपनाओ,
औरों को भी सिखाओ।
First of all, congratulations for the award. Now, what were your first thoughts when you heard that you're getting the highest honor that the Indian government can give to an Indian living abroad who settled in Israel?
Complete shock. I didn't think I deserved something for being a proud Indian. What I did all my life with my family surrounding me, and just being very proud of my heritage, wanting to spread the word around of Indian cuisine, actually culture through Indian cuisine. And that was the go-get from the beginning, and then it just spread all over Israel.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of India Ideas, your weekly dose of all things science and tech, innovation and entrepreneurship. I'm Gautam Roy. You may call it a black swan event of the tech world or a wake-up call, but the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank shook up the startup ecosystem worldwide. The damage has now been contained to a large extent, but it still remains our newsmaker of the week. SVB, as it's also known, was America's 16th largest bank. At its peak, it held upwards of $209 billion in assets, while in 2020, its assets amounted to around $50 billion. The COVID digital surge boosted its stock a lot. At one stage in 2021, it was the preferred banking institution for almost half of all US VC-backed startups. Its collapse sent the startup ecosystem into a tizzy. Even some Indian startups were vulnerable. A lot of the crisis has now been handled through government and regulators' intervention, but it's still important to understand what happened, why it happened, and what lessons can be derived from it. And to do that today with us, we have Anirudh A. Damani, Managing Partner, Arth Venture Fund, which is a $33 million early stage venture capital fund that is investing in 40 revenue stage companies. We also have Eklavya Gupta with us, co-founder Reka Club, which says it's Asia's largest recurring revenue exchange, which allows firms to convert their recurring revenue into upfront capital in just 48 hours. And Gaurav B.K. Singhvi is with us as well, co-founder We Founder Circle, which says it's a global platform of founders for founders, helping startups with business, community and funding. Welcome to you all. Let me start with you, Anirudh. First of all, do you feel with the kind of steps the likes of Janet Yellen and FDIC and others have taken, the damage done to the startup ecosystem by the SVB collapse has been contained?
I think, hi Gautam, thank you so much for having me back on the show. I think in many ways, these are unprecedented times, right? It's never happened before that a bank run happened on a bank, and in 20 to 25% of the bank's deposits got called within a 24-hour period. So what Janet Yellen, the FDIC, and even what the UK authorities have had to do was definitely unprecedented. What they had to do first of all was to ensure to depositors that the money was safe, and I think they've done that. They've contained at least the crisis to a large level. Now, there's going to be a very big lacuna simply because you no longer have an SVB bank. SVB did a lot for the startup ecosystem. It was the preferred banking partner for funds and for startups, both India and outside. And now, how do we contain? How do we fill up that lacuna? It could actually be a great opportunity for another startup to come in. But let's see if HSBC and the new SVB management in the US will continue to support startups like the way SVB did in the past.
Yes, that is of course going to be a question, because a lot of people preferred SVB for certain specific regions, and which is why they did not go to larger banks. Now, Ekavya, a lot has been talked about what happened and why it happened, but tell us in the first place, how did Silicon Valley Bank find itself in such a prime spot that it caused such seismic tremors with its collapse?
No, I think the classic case of asset liability management at larger scale, right? Like while they had large deposits and the startup deposit